Hey everyone, welcome to Mets in the UK podcast. Me, Tom, NYM UK, today joined by Toria and Tracey, going to talk to you about all things Mets here in the UK. Today we're going to be looking at the season so far, our second half predictions, along with the trade deadline. So, ladies, how are we doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. Right, so let's start things off with the season so far. Obviously, we're going to mention the London series and everything that was amazing to do with that. But what else has been going on in the season so far? What are we thinking so far from our beloved Metsies?
Well, take your pick. I mean, it's literally so far, it's been the season of eras. I mean, what is your favourite era? We've had so many. I mean, do we even remember Rally Pimp? I mean, that seems so long ago now.
Not forgetting Seymour Wiener as well.
Exactly, Seymour Wiener. We've had Grimace. Now we've got the dog, Iggy, the dog. We've, and everything in between. And obviously the best, well, my personal favorite is the oh my God. OMG. Yes. It's literally the best vibe, and it's genuinely like my summer jam. I play it all the time because it's just so fun. Yeah. But it's that, I think, above all that's, the other things are great and they're there and they're kind of, they've all been coincidental things. But when we're talking about these eras and these things that have made a difference, the OMG vibe is I mean, I said it when Iglesias came up, just his presence. Obviously, the OMG goes with it, but just his presence in general has seemingly made a massive difference. So I think for genuine impact, OMG is my fave. But I do love me a bit Grimace. What about you guys?
Yeah, I would say the same. Like you say, the whole vibe of Iglesias, regardless of OMG, he's a stud at the plate, and he's just got an aura.
Yeah, I think it's worth remembering all the way back to spring training. The vibes looked good in spring training before the season had even begun. The players looked like they were having fun. Obviously, start of the season wasn't great, but as we all know, seasoned Mets fans that we are, it's an up and down experience as the season goes on. May was tough, but I think when we look back on the first half of the season in the All-Star break here, like, it's wild to think that this is the same season where we had Joey Wendell and the Lopez incident and, the horrible month that was May and all of that side of things. And then the London series happened, the team meeting. We were on this incredible run in June, just the opposite of last year when, we had the horrible June that was 2023. But I think, it's been a wild season, even by Met standards. Like, it's been a wild season, but an enjoyable one. Like, even in the lows of May, like, I was still tuning in, I was still watching all the games. It was still fun. Granted, we'd love them to win, but we knew what we were getting at the start of the season. We were told by management, it was a retooling kind of year. Many people were expecting us to be around about 500. I've said all along, sort of in spring training, I think we're an 86 win team this season. I still stand by that from what I've seen so far this year. And obviously, like you were saying, Toria, the London series was absolutely incredible. Shout out to MLB for putting that on. It was incredible. We all had such an amazing time. Hands down, the best weekend I've had in a long time. Hanging out with you guys was epic as well, and it's just been such a great season.
Birthday weekend.
Yeah. We'll leave it there.
Yeah. It was great, and you loved it. Don't tell me otherwise.
I loved most of it.
We have videos that prove otherwise. Don't forget.
Yeah, I mean,
true story.
Being sung happy birthday, not the highlight of the weekend, but Mets win on the birthday was good. I will say that, that was incredible. That was the best birthday present ever. Obviously, we all got to meet Steve Cohen, which was lovely as well.
It was amazing.
Definitely didn't see that come in. But
no idea.
The guy was so humble. Like he really took his time to make sure everyone had the chance to speak to him, everyone had the chance for their photo. And that's what I want from ownership. I want people that like genuinely care about the team and the fans. And I definitely think we've got that with Steve Cohen. Absolutely throwing shade at the Wilpons here. They were not good.
They would never have done that.
Oh no, never.
It's deserved.
Yeah. I think, going back to what you said, Tom, about, if you remember, I did a thing around spring training time, and one of the things that I called out at that point was the vibe and the quality that we had. And not to blow my own trumpet or anything, because I love the boy, but I might have mentioned my love for Tyrone Taylor at that point as well. And we'll kind of get onto that, but one of the things that I have said from the start, and when we had that terrible start and then we went on that terrible run, these guys did not become bad players overnight, and I've stuck to it. Like they were, it was just a case of them clicking all together at the same time. We had good elements, but we never had all of the elements together at the same time, and that's what we were missing. But we're 3 over 500 at the break. We are in a wildcard spot at the break. We're only 4 behind the Braves. I mean, that's still wildcard, but let's just put that into perspective, right? We're 4 games behind the Braves, who everyone thought would just run away with the league. Let's not even talk about the Phillies, because they're just not in the conversation. We don't need to worry about them at all. But we've been recently consistently winning series. We don't have to win every single game. We just have to keep winning series. I think we've won or split. Is it like 8 of the last 10 series? That's like
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a vibe, right? That's what's going to keep us going. Along with my Bete. I love a Bete day. Harrison Bader, for the record, I will be the first to put my hands up. When we signed him, you all know how much I love defense, right? So I was aware of his defensive abilities, but I was not buzzing by the signing. I was not like really excited about it. And I slept on it, and I woke up and I still said, meh, I'm still, but I'm hoping that his defense saves us. I love him. Absolutely love him.
Yep.
I think that he has provided, again, just that aura when he's playing defensively. He's capable of doing something with the bat as well, which is great, but that's not why he's there, right? And I don't know. There's just something about him and Taylor together that it just makes me smile. I love seeing Bete together. So I think that he's getting a little bit more recognition recently, but I think he kind of goes under the radar a little bit, and I think he deserves calling out because, again, he's another character. You can see that he is a really good presence there, and people like having him around. And I think that having those right characters in the clubhouse has made a massive difference as well.
Yeah, absolutely agree. He's, like you say, he's got an aura, a presence. He's a linchpin in centre field. He gives us that stability that we need. You can rely on him to get that ball. And the last game, which that was play the other Sunday, day was
insane,
sweet,
incredible.
And you need that sort. He's calm when he needs to be calm, but he does have that fire as well, and I like that.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. If you can pick one of our signings from the off season, you're only allowed to pick one. Who would you pick as being our best signing so far?
I'm sorry. Go on, Trace. You go first.
I was going to say, Tom, who's yours?
So mine's Severino. Mine's Severino. I'm a big pitching guy, as you all know. I think he never lost his stuff. Like he was still good on the Yankees last year. He was clearly tipping his pitches, or they'd worked out his signs or something, because he was still in the top 10 pitching for like speed and accuracy and all that kind of stuff. I won't bore people on the stats, but I think what he's done is he's come into the Mets and he's reset that. He's worked on whatever was going wrong at the Yankees last year, and we've seen a very, very good Severino this year. He's helped out the bullpen massively, going deep, but off the field as well. Like, he rallies that OMG sign so hard in the dugout.
Yes.
And going back to what you said before, Toria, like, we need guys like that in the clubhouse that continue the vibes of being positive and fun. And, I think we all saw like the look on his face when we got the 5th home run the other night. It was like, oh God, I've got to do this again. But he did it, and he championed through it. And I think he's been a valuable addition. I'm going to go on to trade deadline in a bit, but I really hope the Mets keep hold of him and don't trade him away. I hope that, because it's a 1-year deal, I hope they can work on something, give him a couple of years that he might be looking for. Obviously, it's going to come at a slightly higher price. We're not going to get him on a steal like we have this year, but value for money wise, I think it's going to have to be Severino for me.
Yeah, he's earned it.
Tracey?
Oh. For me, I would say either Bader or Manea.
Okay.
Because they both pass the vibe check. They're consistent, and I just like the interactions with Manea at the London series on the Friday workout day. He just seemed to be a lot of fun.
He did. He was very happy to be there.
Yes.
I'm going to go JD Martinez. I think the impact that he's had, not just with what he does himself, but what he has brought and what he has gone through with the other players. If you talk to them, they've all, he's talked to them about what it is that they're doing, what's working, what's not, what they can try, and they're all, and they clearly respect him and listen to him. So I think that for what he has brought overall, not just at an individual level, but how he's been able to kind of help the team as a whole. Particularly we talk about Nimmo, McNeil, Pete. He's and all of them. They've all asked him for advice. So ideally, again, we'll keep him for another year. And I'd love to see him stay on beyond that as a hitting coach, because he's obviously got that respect. I think wherever he ends up, he will end up in a dugout somewhere. I just hope that it's with us, because I'd much rather him be on our side with our hitters rather than someone that we have to face. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a nice opportunity to segue into the future, really, if we're thinking about what this team needs. We are, at the time of recording, 2 weeks away from the trade deadline. Obviously, the rumour mill is in full circle at the moment. We've seen the mighty Phil Maton added to the bullpen, which, let's face it, no one saw coming. So what do we think is going to happen between now and the trade deadline in 2 weeks? Any predictions? Anyone going out? Who might be coming in? What does the team need?
Well, we need bullpen. We still need bullpen.
100%.
We will always need bullpen. There's been, I don't know how frequently it's come up, but I've seen it come up a couple of times. And this one is intriguing to me because, as you all know, I watch quite a lot of Angels baseball. So I've seen this guy a lot this year. He's the Angels closer, Estevez. And there's been suggestions that maybe we try and get him over as a number 8 guy. An 8th inning guy, right? So whether he would, whether his stuff would work as a setup guy, because he's very much, he's got an aura and he comes out and he closes it down and he's got his celebration and, it's very much a thing. But he is solid. If he would entertain being a setup guy, then I'd be in for that all day. I question whether he would. I mean, the Angels are going to be nowhere near anything. So if they can get something, he's one of the they've got a number of players that they can move on. They've got some really good players there, but he's amongst them. But I mean, in the meantime, I like what Mendoza's been doing with bringing up some of the other guys in long relief. But I think that's a temporary fix. We can't keep doing that. So yeah, definitely bullpen. Keep Pete if the price is right. This came up recently. Someone asked me about Pete, and this always comes down to whether I'm thinking as a fan or if I'm thinking as somebody who is in charge of an organization that needs to progress and make money and look for the future. So if I'm talking as a fan, I want him to be a Met for life. He wants it. If you heard him talking at the Home Run Derby, he doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to stay a Met. But I'm not sure if his valuation and the Mets valuation at this point will be on the same page. I think he might have to put his money where his mouth is if he wants to remain a Met. So I think that I don't think he's off the table. I think I want him to stay. I don't think him going is off the table as far as outgoings go. And let's not forget, we're going to get almost a new signing because we should get Senga back as well after the break.
Yeah.
But that's it for me. I think keep Pete ideally, but not for the wrong deal. Don't sell the farm. Get in another pen arm or two.
Tracey?
Yeah, I would agree with that completely. If the price is right, then you have to do a deal with the devil and sit down with Scott Boras. But apparently Stearns and Boras have got a good relationship. So hopefully there shouldn't be too many bumps in the road that way. Like I say, it depends on the numbers. Otherwise, you had the Vientos experiment at first the other day. Interesting. I think,
but I wonder if that's also to make a bit of space for Beatty to come back up.
Possibly. I think White Sox and Blue Jays are going to be sellers. It depends whether we want to be buyers. I agree with not selling the farm, but I don't think that sort of fits in with the Stearns and Cohen's ethos. Wilpons, absolutely 110%, but I think that the current ownership can see further than that. They've got a much
They've been
more
focusing on stocking it. It's been so good, so refreshing.
Yeah, they've got a much more longer term view. Yes, we want to win now, but we also want to be able to win in 10 years, 15 years, whatever it takes. And you can't do that by selling the farm, unfortunately. We tried that under the Wilpons. It didn't work. And we didn't get the win now either. So, you know, we've learned the lesson from that, hopefully. Bullpen is the concern for me. We need possibly one longer arm, I think, because some of them are, you just look at them and you think, oh, it's pitcher X, and you think, do I need to watch from behind my hands like this, or am I safe to watch it? Yes, Ottavino, I'm kind of looking at you. But I think the bullpen has been more consistent recently. Yeah. Which can only be a good thing. And I'm liking the rotation. It will be made even better with the return of Senga, and you've got Marte coming back soon as well. So I only see those as positives.
Yeah, I think like what you guys have said, I don't want to sort of echo and repeat again. We all know the bullpen needs an arm or two. I'd like to see Tyler McGill sort of maybe put into that longer role, whether he's willing to do so or not, who knows. I think there's another couple of areas that maybe do need looking at. I think if Senga is coming back sooner rather than later, I think we need to look at going to a 6-man rotation just for his own sort of, clearly something's not right. Whether it's his shoulder or whether he's got like a knee injury that's causing the shoulder to be off, we don't really know. That's obviously very close under wraps at Mets HQ, but I think in order to make sure that we look after him and don't put him back on the IL, we certainly need to explore the possibility of going to that 6-man rotation, whether that means, calling up someone else from AAA or whether there's a deal to be made elsewhere. But like what you were saying before, Tracy, at the moment, pretty much all the leagues are wide open, apart from 1 or 2 teams like Toronto and White Sox. So there's not many teams out there that are going to be desperate to sell because no one's really out of it, especially with the wildcard places the way they are. No one's massively behind and out of the way. So it will be interesting to see what kind of deals can be done, if any, in that sort of situation. Marte, I think, is another one where we need to be a bit mindful of. Mendoza said that his healing was slow, I believe was the word he used the other day. If he's going to face another lengthy time out on the IL, I know Toria is not going to like what I say here, but Taylor's not an everyday outfielder in the same way that DJ Stewart is not an everyday outfielder. They're both fine as a 4th choice, but I don't like the idea of platooning between those guys, especially if there is an outfielder out there we can go and get that would upgrade on one of the two, even if it meant, DJ Stewart's a likable guy. We'll never forget September 2023, but of the two, he's the one that you would upgrade, let's face it.
Yeah.
I think, bullpen. But I do wonder how much the All-Star break's going to help them sort of rest and reset that fatigue that was settling in. They were overused, they were burned out. Having a week off might have really helped them, especially the likes of Diekman and Ottavino. Gives them a week to just forget everything, de-stress and go again. I'm not expecting them to come out and be Cy Young, far from it. But who knows, there's a lot to be said of having a week off and having that reset sort of time. Either way, I think whatever happens, I think it's going to be under the radar signings like Maton. I don't think we're going to have anything big and splashy that's going to grab the headlines of MLB Network. I can't see them trading Pete, in all honesty, my personal take on it. Not because of the sentiment side. I just think if you are serious about entering negotiations with the guy, you don't trade him away to then go back to him in the offseason and go, we traded you for 6 months. Would you like to come back? I think they'll just see it out, especially the fact that we're in the wild card, we're doing well. It makes sense to keep him around. If we lose him at the end of the season, we lose him at the end of the season. But I think it would be stupid to trade him unless you are getting like a top 10 prospect, all of MLB, something crazy that makes you go, oh, actually, that would be beneficial in the future. But it would have to be like a dead cert kind of prospect rather than, oh, this looks like it could turn into something. But yeah, we shall see on the second half. And whilst we're talking about second half, what are our predictions and feelings for the rest of the season? Will we make the postseason? Will that be wild cards? Are we going to get close? No cigar? What are we thinking?
Well, we're in wild card now, so it's ours to throw away. I mean, I think we need to get off to a good start after the break. Obviously, very soon after the break, we've got another Subway Series, and then we've got the Braves. So they're going to be tricky. But hang on a minute. If you remember, I said we're only 4 behind the Braves. It's an opportunity to take games off the Braves. They're, fighting with us for that wild card spot. But we've also got another 6 games against the Phillies. I mean, I said let's leave them out of the conversation. They're probably long gone, but we've all been there, and we know baseball better than to rule that out. We've got 6 games against them. But crucially, we've got, if we're looking at wild card, right, we've got games against San Diego, Arizona, Cincinnati, all around us in the wild card. But also, they all kind of play each other as well a lot in the second half of the season. So, straight after the break, Pittsburgh are also up there. We don't play them, but they come back from the break and have got Phils and the Cards. So, that we could do with like neither Pittsburgh or the Cards.
Split series will be good.
But Pittsburgh, Arizona, San Diego, Cincinnati, St. Louis, they all play each other quite a lot in this second half of the season. So that's great for us, right? It's going to keep it really close. I can't see that I say it's great for us. It's also bad for us because we play some of them as well. But I can't see any of those teams kind of getting too far out of reach. The only team really that have got that opportunity are us and the Braves, because we're the ones that don't face each other much now, and we have got games against those other teams, so we've got an opportunity to get up on them. But they all play each other so much between now and the end of the year that I think they're going to keep themselves pretty close. So we've got the opportunity to kind of to make that spot our own. Not too worried about the Cubs at the moment. They're 3.5 games back, I think. But they're inconsistent. They're either like really, really good or really, really bad. So you never know what you're going to get with them. But again, their schedule isn't necessarily going to impact ours so much. So I keep saying it. Just keep winning series. Keep winning series. We win, 8 out of 10 consistently. So then, we're in good shape. So definitely wild card. And once you get there, who knows? Like, really, who knows? Nobody knows. And nobody knows which team is going to turn up, because we could be great, we could be dreadful. You just don't know once we're there. But I'm all in on wild card, and I am even in on finishing second in the division, just for bragging rights.
Oh, brave lady.
I think we can catch them.
I agree with you that the wild card is ours to lose. Because, like you say, the teams that we face versus them facing each other, it goes in our favour. I'm going to be there next week, and I'll be at the Braves series and the Monday Twins game as well, possibly picking up some more in there as well. So it'll be good to see how we come back on the bounce after All-Star. Like Tom says, I hope we come back refreshed, the players having seen their families, had time to just chill out and come back with a bang. I want this to be our second half. This could be our moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm just going to echo what you two said. I think, wild card's very possible. I mean, the thing that gives me hope is that no one saw the Diamondbacks doing what they did last year. Maybe we can be that team this year. I think it's inevitable we're going to have a slight slump. We're going to have a losing streak at some point, because it's inevitable in the amount of games that are left in the season. I think it's important, though, that if and when that happens, fans don't absolutely lose it. I realize that's a big ask on the world of Mets Twitter. But, it's about remembering that it is a long season. There's still a lot of baseball left to be played. Anything can happen. And as long as we are hot at the end of August, beginning of September, and we can keep that momentum going throughout September and into October, that's the right time to sort of really pick it up. If we lose a few before then, it's not the end of the world. It's going to be okay. And like you said, Toria, I think once you get into that wild card, anything is possible. It's just about enjoying it. And, hopefully we don't come up against Joe Musgrove and his slimy ear again. And, maybe we can get a fair fight in the wild card. Okay, any closing thoughts as we wrap this up before the half-hour mark?
No, I'm excited.
Yep, 100%. Just wanted to give a shout out to MLB UK community. They have a meet this Sunday, the 21st of July, at Passient 9 Elms. They're showing a selection of the games, and there'll be, if there's enough demand, there will be the Mets game shown. I've heard this from George at MLB UK community, and hopefully I'll be there because I'll be in London this weekend.
And we will do another Mets in the UK one, because we did ours last Thursday and it went really well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so I think to wrap this up, thank you to Tracey for joining us. we hope you enjoy your trip to the States to watch some Mets baseball. Toria and I will be back next week for more Mets in the UK podcast. We're going to try and do this as a weekly thing. So get involved on the socials, whether that's the Facebook group or Twitter or Instagram. Hashtag MITUK at Mets in the UK. Get involved. If there's anything you'd like us to discuss on the pod, drop us a question or feel free to ask us anything. But once again, thanks, ladies, for joining for the pod tonight. And LFGM.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Let's go, Mets. Bye.